Hey, you kids, get off my lawn. Unless you're mowing, let's see your mobile phone for initiative. Do as I say. What's up, a frowny face? Go out and play. Just like your parents did. Just like your parents did. As if your parents did.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to First Gen Gamers. I am co-host number 1, Jed. Ashley, co-host number 2.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing splendid. We're doing another episode. And is it a positive episode? Why don't you tell the people what the topic is, and they could determine whether it's a positive topic or not.
Well, yeah. So the most rage-inducing games. This is going to be therapeutic for me, so I'm going to call that a win.
Fair enough. So I don't know about you. I did set one rule for my picks, and that was I did not pick any games, or I did not consider any games where the rage came from either completely inept design or bugs. So like Superman 64's design is absolutely atrocious with the flying through the rings and everything. I don't include those kind of games because that's just the design was so limited. I don't feel that's fair.
And also because I talked about it in the last episode, so that would be cheating.
True. And buggy games, I mean, that's just easy. Like,
yeah,
buggy games piss off everyone. I wanted to find rage-inducing games where there is something about the game itself, some content within the game that just boils my blood.
Yeah, every game that I picked has personally offended me, and I have felt victimized by the game.
All right. Well, without any further ado, let's start off with the second generation, that Atari and television, ColecoVision era. What is your rage-inducing game from there?
Donkey Kong.
Why Donkey Kong?
It's impossible. It's literally impossible. It has an insanely steep difficulty curve. I feel like the mechanics are super unforgiving. You have to have insane timing and literally perfect reflexes to be able to advance, let alone beat the game. And I feel like it was a leap in terms of arcade ports for home consoles, but it was just way too hard. The controls were kind of unresponsive, but even with that aside, like timing the jumps so that you get them correctly, having enough accuracy to avoid barrels and other obstacles that are in your way. I feel like if you make the slightest mistake, you're screwed.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. It is a very, that's kind of indicative of a lot of the games of that generation, that there's no room for error. None.
Yeah.
My game is Breakout. And I'm not specific about which console it is. There's different problems with different versions of Breakout. So if you play Breakout on the Atari 2600, that game was designed in mind in the arcade with the paddle controller, the knob that you turn left and right, so that way the paddle goes left and right. The joystick on the Atari 2600 sucks. That thing does not, absolutely not, control the paddle very well. It's very imprecise. It makes trying to rush from one side to the other, because it's just a pure left-right. You can't control speed of how fast you get from one side of the screen to the other. So it's very imprecise to try and get anywhere further than the second or third level. If you play it on the Atari 5200, that controller is an analog joystick, but it's not self-centering. So you can move the joystick to the left in levels. You can, kind of do a little bit to the left or a lot to the left, but it won't snap back. You have to force it back. So either way, no matter what Atari controller or Atari system that you play it on, you have a natural handicap, and the handicap is the hardware. And it's just so frustrating.
I love that game.
I love it too. There's a great version of it in the Atari 50 collection. It's called Neo Breakout. All different power-ups, different modes. It's really, really fun. It's a beautiful game too. But playing it on the old systems is so unnerving.
Unnerving.
Like I just sit there like, it's not my fault. It's this fucking machine.
I felt like my life was in danger when I was playing Breakout.
Sometimes I feel that way, but it's my blood pressure probably.
Love
All
it.
right. Third generation, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Sega Master System. What do you got?
Battletoads.
Oh, I mean, describe it for people who don't know, but I already know where you're going with this.
Well, it's kind of like a meme game, but it's also known to be, still to this day, I'm pretty sure, considered to be one of the most difficult games ever.
Oh, yeah.
In the history of ever. Specifically, the turbo tunnel level. I keep forgetting if I'm allowed to swear or not on this podcast.
Yeah, go for it.
Fuck the turbo tunnel level to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That is what caused me to never play that game again. You have to like react within a split second, forget trying to play cooperatively, even though it's supposed to make it less difficult. It somehow makes it worse because you can screw up the other player and then it's just like chaos. But I think my rage with this game goes a little bit deeper because I did work at GameStop for a long time. And every time somebody called asking for Battletoads, I wanted to hunt them down like Liam Neeson in Taken and ruin their lives. So I feel like my rage for this game goes a little bit deeper than my personal gaming experience with this game.
Hey, that's valid. I can't blame you. There's a couple of games from when I worked at Software, etc., that I probably have that reflexive, I'm going to strangle you reaction just from hearing the title.
Yeah. Oh, here's a fun, quick side story. When Pilot Wings came out again, I think it was was it the DS or the 3DS? For some reason, people would call asking if we had that game in stock, but they didn't know how to say it. So they kept calling it Pilo Twings. Which equally pissed me off as much as when people would ask for Battletoads. I'm like, what is Pilo Twings? You know, like the flying game. I'm like, Pilot Wings? Pilo Twings?
Pilo Twings.
Dozens of people kept calling it that. And I'm like, what are you saying? Are you having a stroke? Do I need to call an ambulance?
Is that a dish that you found on a menu for a Greek restaurant? Like, what is Pilo? And what are twings?
I don't know. People are spectacular. I hope they never change.
Yes. It's people like that just give us endless humor. Certainly not joy, but seasoning. They season the world. How about that?
I feel like Pilo Twings is the opposite of seasoning. That's like the most unseasoned chicken possible, but yeah.
All right. So my pick also comes from the NES, Ghosts and Goblins.
I almost picked that one.
There were quite a few in this generation. Ghosts and Goblins was my final pick, but I almost picked Ninja Gaiden, The Adventures of Bayou Billy. That game I've never gotten past the first level of Bayou Billy, ever.
I've never played it, but I'm familiar with it.
But I ended with Ghosts and Goblins because, one, the game is just unmercifully punishing in its difficulty. Respawning enemies if you move back and forth on screen, the 2-hit death, the jump back when you get hit. All of those are bad enough. The constant barrage of enemies, the ability to pick the wrong weapon at the wrong time and you can't get back the other weapon unless you dumb luck your way into finding. But then there's the fact that if you don't beat the final boss with the right weapon, it doesn't count.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
No,
Oh.
I would break everything in the room. I don't have the patience for that.
Yeah, you need to beat the final boss with a very specific weapon that is only available in one place, in one level, and if you miss it, fuck you.
Does the game specify that at any point in time? Let me guess. No.
No.
I knew it. I would lose it. That would send me off the edge and into an institution.
It gets even better, because even if you do get the right weapon, then it goes, then you instead of a game over, congratulations screen, you get congratulations, but this was all an illusion set up by Satan. You have to play the game again. So you have to beat it twice with the right weapon to get the actual ending.
I will never, ever, ever. If somebody gunned to my head, play this game or you will die, I will be like, pull the trigger, boss. Let's go.
Yep. I'll dig the hole myself, because I've never beaten it. I've seen it beaten. It is insane how much work it is. And then the final stab in the heart, the final screw you to all of this is that the game over screen, the congratulations screen, is mistranslated. So you don't, it's like, congratulation, your game is happy end.
All your base are belong to us.
Oh yeah, it is just,
we have to set up the bomb.
Yeah, it is completely mangled. It's hilarious from a meme standpoint, but to have to beat that insidious, insufferable game twice and then get an ending that they couldn't even use spell check with, double middle fingers.
I kind of love that, I'm not going to lie. Like, that, I would love. But I would just love to be in, like, a game dev's brain when they're thinking about this game. They're definitely like, I'm going to inflict pain on every person, every asshole that bought this game. I'm going to just make them want to die. Each level, more and more.
And the thing is, even as the franchise went on, when it went from Ghosts and Goblins to Ghouls and Ghosts, and when it went from Ghouls and Ghosts to Super Ghouls and Ghosts, they never refined anything about it. They never went back and went, okay, we need to stop being so arcade mentality of just trying to suck up quarters. We never toned down the difficulty. They just kept being punishing and cruel with every iteration of the game.
I love it. So I was trying to not pick Battletoads, and that game kept popping up. So I was watching gameplay and reading a bunch of Reddit threads about people and how much they hate the game and how unforgiving it is. But I didn't find anything about the last level, which to me is just mind boggling. That alone would hinder me from ever playing the game, let alone the fact that the game is impossible. What's the point? What is the point?
It's one of those games where if you beat it, I think you can at least feel good. You've achieved one of those gaming rare achievements, but I wouldn't want to put the work in to get there.
Do you want to know how I get that fulfillment? My gamer score. Especially because my gamer score is bigger than all of my friends' gamer scores, and almost all of my friends that I play video games with, unfortunately, are men. I say that unfortunately because it would be cool if I knew more girls that gamed, but that's just gaming. Right. So that's my e-penis. So I feel fulfilled having a large gamer score. I don't need to spend weeks of my life trying to play a game that's going to cause me to have cardiac arrest with no fulfillment. I can't even tell anybody I beat it. No, there's no achievements. It's just you won. But just kidding, you have to beat it twice.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. There's 8-year-old me was different. 8-year-old me would have been happy with the grind. Although I didn't grind that game, because that one was just too much. But 47-year-old me, I do not have the time. I do not care enough. No one is going to be I can't go downstairs and tell my wife, hey, I beat Ghosts and Goblins. She'll be like, that's great. Are you cooking dinner now? She will not care.
Being an adult is so much fun.
Oh, yeah. It absolutely is. All right, so let's get to the 4th gen. The Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and some other weird consoles that were around at the time. What do you got?
Super Mario Kart. 2 words. Rubber banding. And not only that, but this was the game that introduced the dreaded blue shell, which I think is so unfair. I don't care. You guys could call me a crybaby. I'm going to crybaby about this. I could be in the lead and every single lap, and then 10 seconds before I'm about to cross the finish line, I make one small slip up and I'm rubber banded to last somehow, or I get blue shelled and then I'm last. It is. I feel like you could win if you have no skill, and I think that's what irritates me. Although, as an adult, I do like to play Mario Kart. I don't play it on the Super Nintendo anymore. I have it for the N64. But what I like to do is convince my friends to play with me. And I'm like, we have to have drinks first because it's drunk driving. Like safe drunk driving. Rainbow Road is fun.
Oh, God. Rainbow Road drunk? Rainbow Road sober is hard.
Yeah, but you don't care when you're buzzed, right? You're like,
True.
Drunk driving. You're just off the road. But anyway. So yeah, the rubber band AI, it doesn't matter how good you are. Computer-controlled opponents will just skirt. And then, yeah.
I feel you. I've only played a few of the Mario Karts. I played the original. I've played the Mario Kart Wii, and one of my sons has the one for Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I get a kick out of it every now and then. They're a fun thing, I take my
rubber banding.
Take my youngest son to karate. He's in there. I've got my Switch. I'm sitting in the car, and okay, fine. I'll play a couple rounds of Mario Kart. Invariably, I'll be 10 seconds ahead of the second place. Wham! Blue shell.
And I think they still rubber band in the game, right? I haven't played in a while. I think the last one I played for was the Wii, but I'm pretty sure there was rubber banding still in that version.
It's toned down a lot.
It's still enough to make me mad.
there's not a lot of it in Mario Kart 8. I will give it that.
Cool. I'll have to try it.
And the item balance is a lot better. Now, I would say though, like if you compare, say, Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart Wii's item balance is out of this fucking world. It is so off kilter. It is so overpowered or underpowered depending on what you're doing, and the rubber banding can be crazy. But in a way, the chaos is kind of fun, whereas Mario Kart 8 is not nearly as chaotic, so it's a lot safer. You have a much better chance of winning, but it's also a little more boring.
Yeah, it's like I don't mind losing. It's when I could play like 30 rounds and lose every single time. And it's not like I'm second, third, fourth. No, I'm eighth. Eighth every time. It's like at that point, I need to go to childhood therapy because the trauma is so intense. And I just feel like an utter and complete failure and can't even face my parents in like a booster seat at dinner because I am a massive loser.
Yeah, I don't think you'd feel that way with Mario Kart 8. I think that one would, if you lose, if you get like hit with the blue shell in the final lap or whatever, yeah, you're probably going to drop down, but you'll drop down to third or fourth. You're not going to get buried in like 10th or 11th. I have not had that happen to me yet.
Oh my God, it goes that high now?
Yeah.
So I could lose to 10 other oh my Jesus. Do you know my trick? I don't know how many it works on, but when I would get the 3 turtle shells, there's some of them where they just circulate around you. I would just drive and keep them like that and then swerve into people or let them swerve into me and it hits them.
Oh, yeah.
And I would just drive with them. It's like a little force field. Bitches.
You can still do that.
Oh, I love that. It's like the ultimate cheat. Thank me later when everybody listening tries it and it works.
Right. All right. So my game is from the Sega Genesis. It is a little more obscure. It is a tactical role-playing game, I guess you'd call it. It's called King's Bounty.
No clue.
So it's from Electronic Arts back before EA became the Death Star of the video game world. This is back when they actually made new IPs and were kind of adventurous and actually cool. I know it's weird. So King's Bounty, you are a the king has commissioned you to kill these monsters and cleanse the land and blah, blah, blah. The plot's borderline non-existent. But you don't fight. You hire out an army. And then you can acquire armies throughout the world through good monsters, I guess, if you want, because you can get like dragons and cave trolls and cyclopses and shit like that. So you get these and you have to constantly pay them. You have to have, there's a salary system. So yay, there's an economy in there, just what I've always wanted in a role-playing game. Aside from that, it never tells you what the goals are. You have to wander around aimlessly and hope you stumble upon the castle or the boss or the item that you need, because there is no signposting whatsoever. And then to make it even worse is the enemy scaling. Like, you think of any of the Final Fantasy games, Phantasy Star, Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, any of the great RPGs, when you're in an area, the enemies are scaled to your level. So, you don't fight level 13 enemies in a level 1 area. You have to go out to that area to face the hard shit. King's Bounty doesn't do that. You can walk right out of the very first castle and stumble upon one of the hardest enemies in the game.
That's amazing. Amazing.
It is so bizarrely designed. And there's no way out. Like, you can try to run and they might just come and blitz your army and to kill everyone. So the scaling is all over the place, which means everything in the game is randomized, and the randomization is just off the charts. Without a walkthrough, there is no way to make progress. And even with a walkthrough, good luck, because you are still at the mercy of the game just being cruel on a whim.
So this is how my brain works. I heard you say troll, and I heard you say paying people with gold. And I immediately went to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if you watch that show.
I do not know. Tried it a couple times. I tried it a couple times. It never clicked with me.
What?
Sorry.
I'm actually, wow. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. But there's a funny, when they do like a musical and Danny DeVito's character has to sing a song and it's supposed to go, you got to pay the troll toll to get into the boy's soul, but he keeps saying boy's hole. Anyway, and so as soon as you said that, I just started singing it in my head. You got to pay the troll toll. Sorry.
It's okay. I know I'm like one of the few people who aren't into It's Always Sunny. So funny. I've wanted to. Like I said, I tried to on a couple of occasions. It just doesn't click with me for whatever reason. I don't think it's bad. It just, the humor, something about the way the humor is delivered just doesn't land.
Harshly? It's delivered harshly? That doesn't resonate with you?
Nope.
That's fair.
All right, so let's move on to the next gen. 5th gen, our Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Saturn.
I picked Tomb Raider for the PlayStation, which I still own. I love the game. Like, I still love the game, just so everybody knows. But the game is, like, not great in terms of difficulty. Definitely groundbreaking, but super clunky. If you miss a jump, you're going to die in a really dramatic way. You have to restart large sections of the game. I drowned in every level that required swimming. I'm pretty sure in like the safe mansion in the pools, I'm pretty sure I drowned in that pool somehow. I mean, I was like 7 when this game came out, so maybe 6. So give me some credit. I was like a little kid playing like Spyro and Tomb Raiders. There was no in between. But I just remember like the pyramid boobies, just tits up, drowning. Actually, it was boobies down. When she drowned face down. But it's funnier if I say tits up. So every time I would just drown. There were no save points.
I was about to say, wasn't the save points like so far
None.
hard?
So you would die and you'd have to do everything over again, which really was just, I remember I should have watched some gameplay. There's this one level when you're like outside in the snow, I think, and there's like wolves or something. And I just remember that level. I might be making this up completely. And I know there's a snowy level, and that pushed me to my brink, like to my absolute brink. I was either drowning or missing jumps and falling every time. I hate games where I have to do a bunch of jumping. It's my biggest issue with Dying Light, jumping ahead to many consoles later. But if I have to do all this jumping, like I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it.
I'm not good at it. I'm not very good at it in 3D. In 2D, I'm fine. Like sitting in front of Super Mario World or
3D, air quotations.
True.
3D.
But yeah, in 2D, I'm fine. In 3D, it's a very specific game where I'm reasonable at platforming. Like I'm fine with the Ratchet and Clank games. I'm fine with Jak and Daxter. Certain Super Mario 3D games.
Yeah, those are fine. Yeah. But this one was so hard. Iconic though. Like I loved to like side jump with her. She'd like side jump, with her like pyramid boobs. That's like the best part is the pyramid boobs. Like just iconic. I love the game. It was just insanely hard for no reason. And just all the swimming and drowning really just set me up for mental health failure in adulthood, I think.
You know, I've only played a little bit of it. And it was because of the difficulty that just, it pissed me off at the time. I was like, no, this is more, I love the idea of it, but the difficulty of it was just too much for me to want to deal with.
There are snow-based levels. I Googled it. I was like, I remember a snow-based level and I would die every time. So yeah, I'm not crazy. Traumatizing. Great game though.
Well, my pick is also admittedly a classic game. It's unimpeachable in terms of its status, but for me, and it's actually something that I just kind of alluded to a moment ago, Super Mario 64. That game's level design is it's too open. Like, I get what they were going for.
I love it.
They didn't, rather than have 96 levels like Super Mario World, they had one level and there was like 4 or 5 different goals, but I never feel like I know what the goal is. And that may also come from the fact that I didn't play it on the 64 at the time. I came to it backwards from like the Wii Virtual Console and that Super Mario 3D All-Stars compilation that they released a couple years ago. You know, I played Mario Sunshine and Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Odyssey before I played 64. So going back to that is going back to something that's very, it's very foundational. It's the roots of what Galaxy and Odyssey and Sunshine were built on. But because of that, it doesn't have the refinements of those. And I can't deal with it. The level design, like I said, is so open. I never know where I'm supposed to go. I never know what I'm supposed to do. The cameras sometimes is not your friend in that game. Sometimes that camera does not want to move where you want it to. It's not completely free like it is in later games. Again, it's a classic game. Every 3D platforming game, every 3D game practically owes Super Mario 64 a debt, but it just drives me nuts. And I feel like I'm on an island with that one because
I love that game a lot.
I totally, I have a lot of I'm on an island opinions. I admit it. All right, so 6th gen. PlayStation 2, the original Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast. What do you got?
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. I never got around to playing it, but I've heard that it is just.
Yeah. So this game set a precedent for me young that I cannot play games that make me rage. And this was the first game to do it. This game was so hard. The enemies and bosses were so hard. The learning curve isn't even a curve. It's just a straight up cliff that you're never going to get up. And I feel like just like all the other games I mentioned, you have to have perfect timing, quick reflexes. Even minor enemies, I feel like could just wipe you out completely. And also the save system, I feel like it was intentional, but to me it's kind of broken. There's not a lot of save points and checkpoints. So if you die, you have to go way back super far, which just makes it even worse. Half the time I couldn't even figure out what I was doing. And so I had to stop playing that game and I never finished it. And it just, I never played another one after that.
I never tried it. I think I was at a point in my life where my gaming tastes were starting to, or the free time in life was dictating what gaming I was playing. Because that came out, like 2002, 2003, somewhere around there. Somewhere in that early 2000s area. I had just moved across country. I was engaged, or I might have been just freshly married at the time. I'm not sure. I just didn't have the time to get good, as the kids say. I heard about how punishing the game was, and I went, nope, I just know. That game's just going to drive me up a damn wall, and I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, my stepdad and I would try to play it, and we both couldn't make it past the same part, and we were just like, and he is like the most patient guy on the planet, but when he gets nerd rage, it's real. He just gets up silently and just walks away. and the game was just so, and for this reason, there are games further on this list where this just triggered something in me where I just won't even engage. Won't even engage.
Perfectly fair. So my pick for the generation, it's it is Legacy of Kain Blood Omen 2. This game, its existence is what causes the rage. Now, the game itself is kind of dull. The combat is wonky. The story is not the best. The graphics, coming off of Soul Reaver 2, it's a completely different kind of game. It's fine. It's fine, but it's nothing spectacular. Soul Reaver and Soul Reaver 2 were very excellent, and this was just fine. My rage comes from the fact that Soul Reaver 2 ends on this big cliffhanger. It is setting you up for the grand finale of the Legacy of Kain series. And Crystal Dynamics went, you know what we should do? We should travel back in time to an alternate timeline and tell a side story. Fuck you. You made me wait another couple of years for the finale that I was wanting. And instead, you gave me a character I don't want to play as, in a game I don't want to play, in a story I don't care about, that's got no context to the finale.
Yes.
Kiss my ass.
Yes. Makes sense.
That one's extremely a nerdy rage thing, but that one just, yeah. All right, 7th gen.
I feel very strongly about this game. Not only this game, but every game in this series, every game that it's related to, every game that has come out thereafter, and that game is Dark Souls.
Ooh.
I didn't want to play it because I knew I would get mad. And so I was pressured to work to GameStop when this game came out. You could take it home for free and play it. It's so good. I'm like, I'm not going to like it. I already know, just based on the fact that it's just nonstop fighting insanely hard bosses and you can't save your progress, I'm going to lose it. Played it for like an hour and I fucking lost it. And I was like, I'm never going to play this game or any other Dark Demon Souls, any other game. Elden Ring, forget it. I will not play any of these games because I will not be rage baited into breaking my system. I will not be rage baited into it. So played it, knew I would hate it. I fucking hated it. God bless, Godspeed to anybody that can play that game. But I just remember I'm like in this big, I'm walking around. I have no idea what's going on. I'm getting shot outside. It's like very Lord of the Rings by like skeleton men. I'm like, the fuck is going on? I don't even know what's going on. Walk inside, there's like an open room with like pillars and like a second floor and this giant like fat dragon demon thing. is attacking me. I can't beat it. I have no idea what to do. I die, rinse and repeat. And I'm just like, what? If you play this game, you must be like a masochistic or like have like a weird, I like to get hurt kink, which is fine, man. Do you? But I just can't see why you would enjoy this game otherwise. It is like absurd.
I'm with you 100%. I tried Demon Souls, and I think I made it hour and a half. And I'm fighting low-level grunts, like just a guy in half armor with a spear, and he is kicking my ass. Like,
it's not even fun.
No.
Sorry.
It's like, if I really wanted to master actual sword play, I would go out and join a LARP. I don't need to. I'm getting nothing from being continually abused by this game. And I've not played any of the Dark Souls games. I've not played Bloodborne. I've not played Elden Ring. What was their game set in feudal Japan? Sekiro, I think.
I don't know, to be honest, but I know I don't want to play it.
Yeah. I see From Software on it, and I just know I'm done. Check out.
Nah, I'm good. Yeah. I like not breaking my controllers. Yeah. I like only one game has made me do that, and that was Dark Souls. So I'm good. I'm all set. I don't ever need to get that mad again.
Nope. Yep. The minute I start feeling that mad, walk away, go get a juice, just chill down. And don't engage with games like that. Just no.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, you just collected 4 souls in 7 hours. You just died. So now all of those souls are gone. You can now spend another 12 hours accumulating 2 souls. Like, and all my friends that I love dearly, but fuck you guys, that have beaten the games. Like, how do you even really beat it? Whatever. I don't want to know. They wear it like a badge of honor. Like, whoa, I play all these games I'm really good at. Like, cool, dude. Love you so much. Bye. Like, good for you.
Yep. I
hate it. I'm mad just talking about it.
I absolutely feel you on this one. Yeah. Well, my pick for this generation is Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2.
How dare you?
Don't get me wrong. I love Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I think the first Lords of Shadow game is beautiful. It has such a tragic ending. I love it. The sequel was not what I wanted. I did not like the fact that they tried to go open world, but they made the world really small. And then they had like the real world, but then there's his castle in the past, but then there's also hell, but they're sort of the same layout, but not quite. It felt so repetitive and so much backtracking. And I had to restart the game on a couple of different occasions. Like, I would get an hour or two in, I'm going, this is not what I wanted. I wanted the Lords of Shadow gameplay, not whatever this is. And it took me 3 times of restarting this game to actually be able to sit down and plow through it. And the final boss was so underwhelming. I beat it first try. Didn't even realize it was the final boss. I'm like, that was it? I triggered the ending? How the fuck did I do that? It was so... The rage wasn't this high temperature boil, but it was more just this simmering kind of, you had it. You had the formula and you got cute and didn't follow up the way you should.
Womp womp.
I take it you liked the game.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I wouldn't replay it, but I liked it. I'm probably not as big of a Castlevania fan as you are, so it sounds like you take personal offense to that game, so I get it.
It just, yeah, I am a big Castlevania fan. It was just, like I said, it was not what I wanted. It left turned when it didn't need to.
I feel like being a gamer means that you need to be really disappointed with any subsequent game in a series that you enjoy. Like, just being honest. Very rarely am I disappointed. I just assume that it's going to be horrible. And then if it's not, then I'm like, oh, cool. But if it is, I'm like, I knew it. At least I'm not let down.
Fair. Yeah, because that does happen quite often. Well, 8th gen. PS4, Xbox One, Switch and Wii U. What do you got?
I was lured into playing this game with my little brother and sister when I went to visit a while ago, and I didn't know what I was getting into, but that game is Cuphead. I'm like, oh, this is cute. Some 1930s cartoon characters, playing a level kind of like, whatever. What am I trying to say? But anyway, and then you get thrown into like this intense boss battle. Like the game is impossibly hard. Like I did not know what I expected, but I did not expect it to be that. Really bad at the game. Can't play it for more than 2 minutes. I think my brother and sister knew. And so they were just rage baiting me and they were successful, but they are like animals at that game for whatever reason. And so, yeah, it looks really innocent, but the game is insanely hard and you're going to die like every 2 seconds, which I feel like is kind of, at least let us know.
That is one of the, excuse me, that is one of the few intentionally difficult games that I do enjoy. I think part of it is the charm of the animation style.
It's good.
And it also is very reminiscent of me to a lot of shmups. Games like Gradius and Life Force, Ikaruga, Einhander. It's very reminiscent of me to that. So, and I love shmups. So I enjoy playing it, but I only enjoy playing it in very short bursts.
Yeah. Like I'll play this game. I won't play, like Dark Souls or anything like that. I'll play this game. I am just insanely bad at it and can only play it in bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
Because it's insane.
I
wasn't expecting that.
I think I've gotten past the first half a dozen bosses, maybe. And I hit a wall at that point. Like the next boss was just insanely difficult, and I haven't gone back since because it's just a lot.
It really is.
So my pick for this generation is Fallout 4.
Okay. I'm going to mute myself. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Those stupid fucking missions where you have to get resources for the settlements.
Just let them die.
If I got to hear Preston Garvey tell me one more goddamn time that the settlement in the northern peninsula needs oranges and duct tape, I'm the general, asshole. You go get the oranges and duct tape. It's not my friggin' problem. I'm not one of those people who think that it was such a step down from Fallout 3 in New Vegas. I like Fallout 4. I think it is a well done for Bethesda, because there's no such thing as a Bethesda game with polish. But I think it is a perfectly fine Fallout game. It is fun. But oh my God, those stupid settlement missions, I just can't deal with that. Like once that door is opened, you can't close that door. And if you let the settlements die, you never hear the friggin' end of it. And, that's the part that drives me up the wall.
I got to see how many hours I have into this game. That would require me to turn on my Xbox, but I know it's an ungodly amount of hours into this game. I love Fallout 4. It's not my favorite, but I didn't like the settlements either. I just didn't bother with them. I just carried on as usual.
I started doing them with the assumption that there would be an end point. I thought, if I do them, sooner or later, I will get the settlement up to a point where it's self-sustaining and fully functional, and I won't have to worry about it anymore. And it never happened. I never got a single one of them up to that point. It just, No,
it's never ending, but I just ignored it. I got to see how many hours. I'm turning on my Xbox now. I know it's like an insane amount of hours, although it's probably not as much as 7 Days to Die. But I love Fallout 4. New Vegas was my favorite, though.
That's a universal answer, and for a very good reason, because New Vegas is the awesome one.
Sorry, I'm looking right now. I'm going to embarrass myself.
Okay.
I know it's like an ungodly amount. I don't even know what do I do? Go to my achievements. I don't like the new layout. I mean, it's not new. It's been around for forever, but I hated when they changed the Xbox layout.
I can't help you. I have no idea what the Xbox UI looks like. Do you know? Is it in the hundreds or the thousands?
My hours in this game?
Yeah.
I think it's close. I think it might be in the thousands.
Wow.
If not, it's close. I'm going through my list of games now, but there's a lot. Golf with your friends. I hate that game, by the way. It's so bad. And that's a rage-inducing game for me. I'm really bad at that game.
That's just the name of it? Golf with your friends?
Yeah, it's like a really crappy. I think it might be just like a Microsoft game where you just like golf, mini golf, and it's really, I mean, it might not be difficult. It might just be me, but I'm trash at it. I was going to ask you what game are you playing currently? I don't feel like we talked about that last time.
I'm bouncing back and forth between a few of them. My main game, like my main narrative game that I'm playing right now is a game called Death's Door. It's an indie game. Take like one of the 2D Zeldas. So like take A Link to the Past. Make it a little more of an isometric perspective. So like Diablo. But it still retains the Zelda kind of dungeon, get an item, boss kind of formula. But you play as Crow, and he's a reaper of lost souls. And apparently the afterlife, like all the doors to the afterlife have gone haywire, and you've got to collect them and fix the afterlife. And it's just this charming little game where you're this crow with a sword, and when you're not actually sorting things, he behaves like a crow. So you'll stand there and he'll do the little quick head tilt. And it's really, and he bounces like a crow, and it's very adorable to be just playing as a bird.
I like it. I'm playing through Fallout 76 again because I wanted to see how high I could get my character. And then I got suckered into buying Fallout First.
Fallout First?
Yeah, it's like a subscription where I can get my own private server, which is what I need.
I remember hearing about Fallout First. That was during the first... Was that during the first few months of Fallout 76 when everything was going wrong with the game?
I didn't play it because I heard that it was a disaster, so I waited to play it. But yeah, and then you get like a bunch of free atoms, which you can use to spend in this atomic store to buy like a bunch of like cool stuff. But then I don't know, I just like having a private server because I don't like to play with lower level players, especially during events. And I don't want to be mean to them either because they don't know. So it's just better that I play by myself because I don't need to be mean. So I have 47 days, which is 1,128 hours, 17 hours and 28 minutes into Fallout 4.
Wow.
I play a lot of video games. It's really bad. Yeah.
I am impressed. I thought that my 275 hours in Diablo 3 was something.
I have over 1,000 hours on PC for 7 Days to Die, and I probably have double or triple that 7 Days to Die on the Xbox because I like to play with friends. In fact, when the full version, I'm saying that loosely because if any of you play that game, we all know how the fun pimps are. So if the full version comes out, they're going to redo it for the console. So the console will finally be caught up because I think the console version is like Alpha 16 and they're on Alpha 20 or something right now. Then I will be putting in an insanely high amount of time because all my friends that play 7 Days to Die, none of my friends have computers except for like 2. And they only want to play like Counter-Strike and one other stupid game I don't want to play. Sorry for those of you that play Counter-Strike. I'm a girl. I can only handle so much first-person shooters, especially that game. You have to be so fast. So I'll play it on the Xbox and put even more hours in. But it's kind of sad how many hours I have into some of these games. No regrets.
No. Hey, that's what they're for. They're playing and having fun.
Yeah. I need a life.
Except for the games we've been talking about, which are rage-inducing.
Yeah, true.
Do you have one for the 9th gen? Because I do.
I'd probably say Cyberpunk. Just because I was waiting for that game for so long and I was so excited. I normally am not like I could customize my character in 10,000 different ways kind of gal. But I was like, wow, this is so cool. what do they have? Like Idris Elba's a voice actor for. They have like a bunch of like cool people voice acting. Maybe I'm making that up. I'm pretty sure they have some famous people voice acting. I'm like, this game's gonna look awesome. And then it came out, and it was that might have been one of the most disappointing releases as of late.
Yeah, I mad respect to them for actually bringing it back up to functionality.
After how long now? Jed. And
Yes.
they didn't offer refunds like they did to people with Fallout 76. So I don't really respect it. Like, cool, you finally fixed your game a year, 2 years later. Oh, slow clap. Good job. You did your job. What about people that paid for it?
I will give you that. It should never have been released in that state in the first place. The fact that they brought it up to code is you're just doing your job at that point. But I mean, at least they did it, as opposed to a lot of other companies who have released hell into the world with incomplete, shitty games and then walked away.
What was that game that was out for like 3 months and then they shut down the multiplayer servers? We were just talking about that in the last episode.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm talking about. Like, how great. I didn't play it, but I just read about it and I was like, this is actually iconic. Like, this is the most iconic video game release in history. Like, I love it. I hope they keep doing this. I hope they do this more. This game is completely unpolished and we're going to shut down everything in 2 months. Embarrassed.
The day before.
Yes. Yeah. Something. Yeah. I love it.
It wasn't even a month. It was like a week and a half.
Oh, really? Oh, that makes it even better. Iconic. Yeah. So iconic.
Yeah. There's the backstory on that game is so unbelievable. Like, if you have the time to dig deep on that and watch some videos about it, read the articles about it, the backstory on that was a clusterfuck of legendary proportions.
What would you pick for current gen?
Returnal.
I don't know that I know that one. I'm gonna have to Google it.
Returnal is a third-person roguelike shooter. It's made by Housemarque. They're one of Sony's studios. They do a lot of they used to do a lot of twin stick shooter games, like wasn't Dead Nation. There's a couple other games they did. I can't think. Ex Machina, I think, was one of them. So the whole idea is you're an astronaut. You've crash landed on this planet. It takes place in the far future, and in exploring this planet, you discover two things. One, the geography of the planet keeps rearranging. There's never a set geography, which leads into part of that is the rogue. That's kind of part of the justification for the roguelike aspect. But the other thing is that every time you die, you come back to life, but you can find your own corpse, and you can loot your own corpse, or you can loot the corpses of other players who have been playing this game. I love roguelikes. Like, Hades is one of my all-time favorite games. I think roguelikes can be so much fun as long as they are balanced in a way where you can feel like you're making the progression, where each run gets you a little bit closer to the end. Returnal doesn't feel that way to me. Returnal feels like every run is a lottery ticket, where you might get the most overpowered gun and you might destroy everything in sight. You might be armed with the BFG from Doom and just blow you're blowing mountains in half. And then the next run, you've got nothing. You've got pea shooter, you've got no healing items, and you are getting harassed by the eldritch old ones from H.P. Lovecraft. It's rage-inducing because you can never feel a consistent feeling of progression. You just have to make do with whatever luck you get, and I don't like that. Like, I should feel like I'm getting the hang of things and making some permanent progress, and I never did.
Yeah. If you're wondering why I jump startled when you were speaking, it's because I was looking at it on Steam and I forgot that I had autoplay on my videos. So when I clicked on the page, it just blasted the trailer into my ears. So sorry, that's why I jumped out of my seat while you were talking.
I was wondering. I was like, okay, I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to keep talking. I'm sure I'll hear about it afterwards.
It scared the shit out of me. I just wanted to read the reviews, which are mostly positive.
It's a beautiful game. I'll give you that. And the gameplay loop is interesting.
Oh, I lied. Recent reviews are mixed, which is interesting because all reviews are very positive, but recent reviews are mixed.
Yeah, I mean, you have to like roguelikes. If you don't like roguelikes, this game there's an impenetrable barrier for you. You will never appreciate it. It's like a roguelike with Soulsborne light feeling to it, which I did not appreciate. The dipping toes in the pools of the Soulsborne games. I don't need that.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to try it. I'm like very particular about my sci-fi. So also the trailer jump scared me, and so already off the bat, I'm good. Thanks. It was so loud. Like, why did you have to start your okay, did Michael Bay direct the trailer of your trailer? Like, come on. Anyway. That was fun.
Oh, that was. Sorry you people couldn't see Ashley's jump scare. It was amusing though. Like,
I literally got so startled. I'm so startled. South Park.
I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Sorry.
Keep rolling.
That was good.
Oh, all right. Well, that is this episode. Ashley, tell everyone where they can find you if they want to get in touch.
Yeah. All my social media is at fthatpod, except for Instagram, which is fthat_pod. I have another podcast.
Which you should listen to. It is awesome.
You should listen to it.
Yes. Listen to it now.
And
well,
rate
now.
it 5 stars.
I mean, not now. I mean, finish listening to this episode first, then go listen to.
Yes.
But no, it really is a great pod. I've gotten once we connected and got on this journey together, I started listening to your podcast, and it's a lot of it's true crime, but it's also weird that there's weird true crime stories to it.
I get spooky with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Absolutely great. If you want to contact the show, our email is firstgengamers1000@gmail.com. My socials are in the link tree in the show description. I'm really only on Blue Sky and Letterboxd because I'm an old man and social media scares me. So that's it. Until next time.
You're so meta.
I know. No, I'm not meta.
Not like Mark Zuckerberg meta, like meta.
I know. I just had to play that off because social media loop, whatever. All right. I have no idea what topic we're doing for the next episode. Well, we didn't even maintain the topic we teased last time because circumstances just kind of forced us to switch lanes. So, you know what? You'll find out when the next episode drops.
It'll be a surprise.
Yeah. Sometimes surprises are good.
Yeah. Bye.
Just not with these games. Bye.